Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Next Strategy Skills podcast episode. Today, I'm going to continue stepping out of the study to answer questions from readers and listeners who have sent in comments. I've picked these because I think they're important and they will help you understand the study. So, the third most popular question here is not really a question, actually. It's things people told me they are doing to get up to understand the study, and even though they didn't phrase it as a question, I think it needs to be addressed. So people from all over the world write to me, from Finland to Sweden to Australia, New Zealand, Chile, Congo. We actually have a lot of clients in Angola, believe it or not. Vietnam, Burma, Bangladesh, South Africa, Botswana, Chile. Basically, a lot of countries are covered. And they all ask questions, or they tell me what they're doing, right? Now, one of the things I've noticed is that to beef up their knowledge about corporate strategy as we teach it, people are doing a lot. And this episode, I've thought of different names for it, but I think the best name is Avoiding the Strategy Echo Chamber. And I'm going to talk you through what I mean by that in a second. Now, if you want to see examples of not following an echo chamber, of doing something different from everyone else and getting a better result, you can listen to Partnership Memoirs, my story of how I became a director when I was in my 20s. I did a lot of things different from other people. I avoided the echo chamber. The startup, where we are building an ultra elite luxury brand, we are breaking every rule there. We're deliberately looking at what other people are doing and saying, why are they doing that? And let's do it differently. So if you want to get more context and see more examples, do it by listening to those shows. You can even listen to Implementation, Building the Innovation Division. We broke all the rules in terms of how an innovation division should be built at a massive organization. And that was a very successful study. Andrew ended up becoming senior partner from senior manager in the space of 3 years. And he's left. He left the firm as a senior partner and he serves as the chief innovation officer at a major corporation now. Fortune 1000 or something like that. So let's talk about this strategy echo chamber. The strategy echo chamber is the things people do that they think they should do to be good at strategy, but you don't have to do it. Let me talk you through the echo chamber. One is, it really starts off when you're graduating from high school. You look around you and you see the people that make a lot of money are usually consultants, people in finance, now people in tech. But unless you come from a tech background, it's hard to break in there. So you usually look at the law profession, consulting, and finance. So it becomes this massive race to get good grades at university, get an undergraduate job, get more good grades, get into university. And really that's all you do from the time you're 14 till the time you get to 28. You accumulate academic credentials, right? It's a massive race of going for tutoring, going for advanced placement classes, subscribing to online programs that prepare you for these things, getting coaching help, getting tutorial advice, taking part in leadership camps so that you can bolster your resume to get into good undergraduate and then graduate schools. Once you graduate, you have to get into the right kind of firm, and that's a whole journey in itself of preparing your resume, being coached on interviews. Once you get in, it doesn't stop. You have to prepare for your GMAT or whatever advanced placement test you are taking that graduate schools look at. Once you get into the school, you have to then go through the whole cycle of bolstering up your leadership, taking the right classes, getting the right grades, serving in the right organizations, meeting the right people. Once you graduate from there, hopefully you'll get into a major bank or consulting firm, and you've got to go through the whole cycle again, right? But the cycle doesn't end. It gets even worse. Because once you get into the right firms, you then got to read the right kind of articles on business. You got to read the right kind of books on business. You probably have a to-do list of articles and books to read that's over 1,000 long. You then have to tweet and follow the right people, because apparently now the greatest thought leaders are on Twitter, and you've got to follow them. If you're trying to network with someone, you don't just have to read what they're saying and tweet and retweet what they're saying. You've got to find ways to connect with them. You need to go to mixers. You've got to maintain networks with your graduating class. You've got to network with people at the office. You've got to network with mentors and potential mentors. You've got to continue to educate yourself. And if you're listening to this channel, you are educating yourself. You've got to gain experience. right? You've got to look good. No one wants to work with someone who doesn't look good. You've got to reread the classics of business from the Harvard Business Review, McKinsey Quarterly. McKinsey Quarterly sends you their 10 best articles, which implies they want you to read it. Doing all of that means you probably got your iPhone over your head as you're in bed and your iPhone hits your forehead as you fall asleep. That's what I call the strategy echo chamber. Reading, tweeting, networking, continuously getting educated, continuously trying to gain experience, rereading classics, and your phone hitting you on your forehead when you fall asleep. I'm going to give you some advice on how to break this, because if you did everything people told you to do to live a amazing life as a strategy professional, you would get nothing done. One person says, you must read this book. Another person says, I start off my morning every day by having a bagel, doing yoga, listening to Deepak Chopra, tweeting Deepak Chopra, having a grapefruit and doing more yoga. Then another one says, I start up every morning by drinking 1 liter of water with a organic lemon that I get myself from, Silicon Valley somewhere, pick myself, clean myself, and then cut myself and put into my water. Another one says, I start every morning by reading whatever Dominic Barton is reading that day. It doesn't matter. My point is, you get into an echo chamber of just doing what everyone tells you should be doing, but you accomplish nothing because the act of doing everything everyone tells you should be doing leads to nothing being done. So let's just explain something to you. And I'll be brutally honest, as I always am. This may shock you, so be prepared to sit down. There's an enormous industry of people who go around sharing their great secrets that make them enormously successful. They've built shows around it. They've built careers around it. They are sending their children to good universities and spring break on the money they make from this industry. And this industry is about sharing their great secrets that make them enormously successful. And if you listen to 10 people share their 10 secrets, you can't execute all of them because they are usually contradictory. If they are not contradictory, they take up so much time. And if they don't take up so much time, they add no value. Now, it's a big trend that people talk about living a balanced life, right? Which means that not only do you work hard, you got to feel good about yourself as well. Now, look, you have to feel good about yourself. That's normal, right? You don't want to feel like an old cigarette and basically burning through life, right? You can't do everything people say you have to do, and you shouldn't. When someone is sharing with you their deepest secret, and it just so happens that they have a YouTube channel that they have to update every week, I think it's fair to say that they have to come up with a deeper secret every week. It doesn't mean you have to follow it, right? So the echo chamber is about avoiding doing everything that you read everywhere, because it's not going to get you anywhere. The art of competitive strategy is to do things differently from everyone else and to constantly maximize that position. Yes, maybe you don't do yoga. Do yoga. Maybe you need to eat healthier. Eat healthier. Maybe you need to start having breakfast. I'm one of those people. I don't have breakfast. Everyone's different, but you got to pick a few things and you got to stick to it. If you're in the echo chamber, I'm going to give you some advice here. The first one is step away. Break your routine. So if you have a routine that you follow every day for years, the odds are you've built a routine, but you have not considered whether it works for you. So for 2 weeks, stop your routines. Just stop them. Don't do anything. Allow yourself to have free time to think about other things, right? 2, and this is a big one, get non-consulting or strategy friends. My best ideas don't come from other strategy partners, even though they are my friends. And I like them, and I think they're very smart people. And I do respect them, and I listen very carefully to their ideas. But my point is that to think critically is a combination of knowing how to think critically and being inspired to think critically. And you don't have to be inspired or learn how to think critically only from business people, is my point I'm making. There are people who think critically in the music industry, in the art sector, in the movie business, in the sports arena. You can learn from them. But if you get caught up in the cycle where you learn from the same people, listen to the same people, and talk to the same people, you're just going to be caught in a trap. And you don't even know you're caught in a trap. Do you know how many people I know who go through the same cycles every year? They take a Christmas break, which they really need because life is going nowhere for them. They then come back and they're disappointed. They go shopping, they buy high heels or shoes, buy stockings or pants, and they go through the motions. They start off the year by making a list of things they want to read and things they want to do. They then start reading it. Then they decide, okay, what I didn't do better last year was not changing things, but doing more of it. I need to network better. I need to read more. I need to read certain articles. I need to develop new mentors. And they just do more and more of it. You have to step back and you need to think very carefully. It's not about being exposed to more. It's about being exposed to the right things. And if you are right now so busy that you can't introduce a new experience, you can't be exposed to new things. But the goal is not to follow everything you listen to. It's to listen to something and say, well, that doesn't work for me, so I'm not going to do it. Or that works for me, let's do it. And I tried it, it doesn't work, I'm going to move on. But the goal here is not to be busy all the time. That is the opposite of productivity. Productivity is output value divided by input cost. Being busy all the time has nothing to do with output value. Output value is that you're Kendall Jenner, you sent an Instagram photo of yourself sucking a lollipop, and some sponsor offered you $5 million. That's very productive. One tweet or one Instagram post got you $5 million. Now, it's not a funny example, it's the truth. And people say, oh no, this lady, she has no talent. Well, I think getting someone to give you $5 million for licking a lollipop is incredible talent, if you ask me. But that is the definition of productivity. Not doing more. Doing things that give you financial value, which then allows you to have the freedom to make an impact in the world, right? So don't be busy. Be producing things that add value. When I say value, I mean it in a monetary sense. You could say, well, I work at the Metro counter in some supermarket somewhere. I add a lot of value. Yeah, but society isn't rewarding you for that. It's telling you earn $10 an hour. On a good day, you make $80 minus expenses. Output value. Remember the definition of productivity, right? Output value over input cost. You have to remember that in your own life as well. As always, if you have any questions, I'm more than happy to answer them. I hope you are enjoying this series. I love speaking to people from around the world. I get emails all the time. I get comments all the time. It always impresses me how talented the group that listens to this podcast. It impresses me that the podcast is so popular around the world. Usually it's ranked in the top 5 for careers in most countries. Sometimes top 2, sometimes number 1 as well. So take care, and I look forward to seeing you in the next episode.